The league issued a caution. The press implored him. His supporters remained hopeful, wishing for a turnaround. Yet on April 3rd, mere hours after receiving an official notice from the NBA, Morant took to the court and defied expectations. He quickly scored, taking a 1-point advantage in mere minutes. The flick of that finger gun might have taken mere moments, yet its ripple effects grew vast. Well, let us hear. And crucially, is there a path for redemption? Hint, the outlook isn't favorable for him. Let's dissect the whole situation. The demise of Morant. The basketball community is shaken by the recent turn of events surrounding Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant. The NBA has imposed its severest penalty, yet due to the guard's ongoing disregard for league directives concerning gun-related antics, Ja Morant faces a $75,000 fine for performing a finger gun celebration during the April 3rd, 2025 matchup against the Miami Heat, despite having received a clear warning from the NBA earlier that day. Although the gesture may appear trivial in isolation, it signifies a critical juncture in a long-standing pattern of troubling conduct surrounding Morant. The debate erupted on April 1st, 2025, amid a tense game between Grizzlies Warriors. With just 20.1 seconds left in the Warriors' 134-125 victory, Morant mimicked holding guns with his fingers, directing them at the Warriors bench while heading back to his own team's side. As the Warriors approached their seats, Ja Morant made a noteworthy gesture that can be interpreted in various ways. Warriors guard Buddy Hield mimicked a similar action from the bench, resulting in double technical fouls for both individuals. In response to this event, the NBA launched an investigation and on April 3rd issued official warnings to Morant and Hield, explicitly telling them to avoid such actions in the future. The league concluded that though the gestures were improper, they did not appear to be aggressive in nature. Yet, in a shocking act of either rebellion or negligence, Morant duplicated the finger gun gesture later that night during the Grizzlies' match against the Miami Heat. After sinking a 25-foot three-pointer with 7:51 left in the first quarter, he returned to defensive position with his right arm raised and his left hand in a gun stance, openly disregarding the warning he had just received. In a post-game interview, Morant faced inquiries regarding the focus on his behavior and responded with indifference, saying, "I've gotten used to it. I've been playing the role of the villain for the past couple of years. Anytime someone has something negative to say about me, it's highlighted. So honestly, it doesn't bother me anymore." His nonchalant stance on serious issues has exacerbated the NBA's irritation with the emerging star. A well-known sports analyst, Stephen A. Smith, spoke to Morant immediately after news of his penalty broke. "Let's be clear right off the bat, you got off light. That's the reality. You came away unscathed this time. Firstly, and secondly, Ja Morant, we must put an end to this. It's time to halt, man." What intensifies the concern around this incident is Morant's past issues involving firearms, which have severely hindered his formerly bright career path. In March 2023, he faced an 8-game suspension for displaying a firearm during an Instagram livestream from a club in Denver. In the aftermath, Morant sought counseling and showed regret. "Personally, I feel mentally better than I have in years. Since being drafted into the league, I've reached a comfortable space where I can learn to support myself and discover various positive manifestations." However, just 2 months later, in May 2023, Morant was again caught on Instagram Live, seemingly brandishing a gun while in a moving car. The second incident led the NBA to impose a severe 25-game suspension at the start of the 2023-24 season, with Commissioner Silver stressing that careless and irresponsible actions involving firearms are unacceptable. During the suspension, Morant expressed regret in an interview with ESPN's Jalen Rose, stating, "That's not the person I am. I disapprove of any form of violence, and I fully own my actions. I made a serious error. I recognize the image I've created through my recent missteps, but moving forward, I will demonstrate who I truly am and what I stand for, altering the narrative that has been unfairly constructed about me." The cumulative impact of these events has been catastrophic for Morant's career and financial future. Analysts in the sports industry project that between his suspensions and missed endorsement deals, especially following Nike's halt on his signature sneaker promotion, Morant has potentially lost around $40 to $50 million. In addition to the official suspensions, Morant's 2023-24 NBA season was further compromised by a shoulder injury, limiting him to a mere 9 games. The Grizzlies, who have centered their organization on Morant's extraordinary abilities, have faltered without him, failing to reach the playoffs after previously being viewed as strong contenders in the Western Conference. The franchise has also faced further instability amid reports tying Morant to the dismissal of head coach Taylor Jenkins after a matchup against the Boston Celtics in March 2025, indicating that his role within the organization may have turned contentious. What renders this tale especially moving is Morant's incredible ascent to becoming an NBA starter. An ESPN E60 feature sheds light on Morant's early days as an overlooked talent, serendipitously discovered when a Murray State assistant coach wandered into a side gym after grabbing a bag of Doritos. "I got some Doritos and a drink, and that's when I heard the sound of basketballs in the auxiliary gym. From such modest origins, Morant surged forward to be selected second overall in the 2019 NBA Draft, earning the title of NBA Rookie of the Year and establishing himself as one of the league's most thrilling players. His decline from prominence signifies not only a personal misfortune, but also a setback for basketball enthusiasts across the globe who have been enthralled by his remarkable talents. As the basketball community contemplates this situation, uncertainty lingers regarding Morant's prospects in the league. Though facing no outright expulsion, many speculate whether Morant's NBA tenure can truly bounce back. At merely 25 years old, he possesses the opportunity to mend his reputation and reclaim his stature. Yet each misstep complicates that journey. The recurring behavioral issues. To truly grasp the NBA's rationale behind imposing such a significant penalty on John Morant, it's crucial to examine the wider landscape of his contentious past and how it parallels other firearm-related events within the league's history. What may appear to be an exaggerated response to a mere hand gesture actually signifies a buildup of years marked by rising concerns and unsuccessful attempts to address his problematic conduct. In addition to the well-publicized Instagram Live episodes that triggered his earlier suspensions, Morant has been associated with various other alarming instances. In July 2022, he faced allegations of assaulting a 17-year-old during a pickup game at his residence and reportedly brandishing a firearm, though he asserted it was in self-defense and no legal action ensued. In the same month, a mall security officer accused Morant of making threats after a confrontation involving his mother. In January 2023, reports emerged from the Indiana Pacers that a person in John Morant's car directed a red laser at them post-game, seen by many as a potential gun site. However, the NBA's investigation could not confirm the presence of a firearm. During an interview with Jalen Rose, Morant provided vague answers while refuting several accusations. He noted, "I understand a lot of these events stem from my own choices and actions, but many recent incidents are connected. I can't disclose too much since they're not public yet, but I look forward to sharing my side soon. What I can express is that these actions don't reflect who I am. I'm deeply family-oriented. My family's well-being is my priority. Therefore, I was merely ensuring their safety. Once I confirmed they were okay, I departed." This tendency for explanations lacking complete responsibility has exasperated NBA officials, who have dedicated considerable effort to advise and aid Morant during his earlier suspensions. The league's evolving measures, starting from warnings to an 8-game suspension, escalating to a 25-game suspension, and now this recent sanction, demonstrates a focus on tackling root problems rather than merely addressing singular occurrences. To understand Morant's predicament, it's helpful to compare it with past gun incidents in NBA history. A notorious example occurred in December 2009 with Washington Wizards players Gilbert Arenas and Javers Crittenden. After a heated gambling argument on a team flight, Arenas brandished 4 handguns in the locker room, leading to a tense standoff where both players confronted each other with their weapons before teammates. Subsequently, then-Commissioner David Stern imposed suspensions on both for the rest of the 2009-10 season, totaling about 50 games. Arenas eventually pleaded guilty to a felony gun charge, resulting in a 30-day sentence in a halfway house, 2 years of probation, a $5,000 fine, and 400 hours of community service. Crittenden's narrative plunged into deeper sorrow. In August 2011, he became embroiled in a drive-by shooting in Atlanta that fatally claimed the life of a 22-year-old mother of 4. By 2015, Crittenden admitted guilt to voluntary manslaughter, resulting in a 23-year prison sentence. In another notable incident, Stephen Jackson from the Indiana Pacers found himself under duress in October 2006 after being struck by a vehicle while leaving an Indianapolis strip club. In response, Jackson brandished a 9mm handgun and discharged 5 rounds into the sky to scatter the crowd. Afterward, he faced a suspension of 7 games without salary from the NBA. In a more recent event in 2020, Malik Beasley, a guard for the Minnesota Timberwolves, was taken into custody for aiming a rifle at a family outside his residence in suburban Minneapolis. Beasley admitted guilt to a felony threat of violence and received a sentence of 120 days in jail. The NBA then banned him for 12 games. What sets Morant's situation apart from these previous cases is that, unlike most of these players, Morant has not faced arrest or charges for any firearm-related offenses linked to his social media episodes. His transgressions largely revolved around how he was viewed rather than straightforward legal issues. The NBA's shift towards progressive discipline for actions that aren't tied to criminal conduct marks a notable change in the league's stance on behavior harmful to its reputation. This change mirrors wider societal shifts in perceptions of gun violence and acknowledges the heightened scrutiny athletes endure in the age of social media. Incidents that might have once been managed quietly now circulate rapidly online, compelling the league to act more firmly to safeguard its image. The recurring use of finger gun gestures, though they may appear trivial individually, carry added weight considering Morant's documented involvement with gun incidents. What could be deemed a lighthearted acknowledgement by another athlete turns contentious when executed by someone like Morant, particularly following a clear admonition. In the panel on April 1st regarding Morant's initial finger gun act, analysts highlighted the varying interpretations influenced by culture and age. Interestingly, while many express skepticism, numerous voices point out its absurdity. It unmistakably resembles a gesture signifying an assault weapon. Honestly, it's perplexing to me. I'm grateful to David Yu for recognizing your uncertainty, but it seems to fit neatly into that particular category. Another commenter pointed out Morant's contextual background. As we know, we're not young anymore, David. All three of us have quite a bit of experience. Nowadays, it's quite noticeable that many young folks, particularly, tend to strike the handgun pose when snapping selfies. They seem to signal that they're ready for anything, even though these gestures don't imply actual gunplay. My concern lies in understanding who John Morant believes this appeals to. At some point, you ought to observe the trends and realize, hey, I've witnessed this approach succeed for Jordan. I've witnessed this approach benefit LeBron. And even if that's not your path, take a look at Isaiah Ryder's journey. Some careers make you think perhaps it's not the route to take. If his aim is to earn as little as he can off the court, then go ahead and play. But it puzzles me. On a different program, analysts debated if Buddy Hield's action toward Morant could have triggered his reaction. In my view, during that incident with Buddy Hield, it was a moment where he mirrored what Buddy had initially done to him. I get why people might judge it. They might say he should behave differently given his history. However, in this context, I see it as innocuous. If he's already absorbed the lessons from his past, responding to Buddy in the same style he received makes sense. The NBA's message to both Morant and Hield served to clarify the standards of behavior expected going forward. Despite both players receiving identical warnings, Morant's choice to replicate the gesture later that day showcased either a significant misjudgment of his circumstances or a calculated defiance of the league's authority. Stephen A. Smith's pointed commentary towards Morant encapsulates the exasperation many share regarding a star who appears trapped in a cycle of self-sabotage. It's absurd, yet on the flip side, the world is at your fingertips. You control your fate, the wealth you are generating, the lucrative endorsement opportunities within reach. Especially after Kyrie's issues arose and Madison Avenue turned its focus towards you. You acquired Guerrero as a result, and in light of the suspensions and the lack of endorsements that came next, estimates suggested you lost between $40 to $50 million. That would certainly leave many feeling resentment. I understand that, but I urge you to recognize this. All true basketball fans should be cheering for you. This recent fine isn't merely a penalty. It's the NBA's final attempt to convey to Morant the seriousness of his circumstances and the urgent necessity for a shift in how he navigates his career and public image. The key concern as the basketball community observes Morant's precarious career is whether this drastic outcome will succeed where earlier measures have failed. The future is unclear. On a financial front, Morant faces mounting repercussions. His current contract means that past suspensions have already resulted in losses of substantial amounts for each game, alongside forfeited endorsement deals and halted brand collaborations. Nike, having previously put a hold on marketing Morant's signature shoe during past suspensions, continues to keep its distance. The company is said to be considering various paths concerning its ongoing association with the contentious figure. Similar to other sponsorship allies, they have also distanced themselves, leading to a void in endorsements that would have seemed impossible merely 2 years prior, when Morant was celebrated as one of the sport's most marketable young stars. Beyond the short-term repercussions, significant concerns arise about Morant's capacity to modify the behavior patterns that have consistently hindered his progress. In a conversation with Jalen Rose after his suspension, Morant opened up about the pressures that accompany such a swift ascent to fame and fortune. At just 23, I'm embarking on this journey at a young age. Entered as a youth, transformed into a caretaker. I became a dad, essentially the main supporter for my family. He also recognized the worries regarding his close companions and the necessity for more responsibility. Truthfully, it seems we've created that scenario through our previous missteps. Now, it's essential that we center our attention on becoming wiser and more responsible, ensuring we hold one another accountable for all our actions. In earlier times, we may not have understood our reality, but having taken the time for introspection, I've come to a profound realization of what's at stake. This is about our collective journey and what we stand to lose together. I'm working on being more accountable, wiser, and steering clear of poor choices. When you see someone on the verge of a wrong move, it's important to intervene. However, even with these moments of clarity and a pledge to improve, Morant's actions, like the repeated finger gun gesture despite clear advice, reveal a concerning gap between his intentions and what he actually does. This behavior raises questions about whether he fully understands the gravity of a situation or if he has the maturity to redeem his career. Morant's future hinges significantly on how he tackles this latest challenge. Sports narratives are replete with tales of redemption, where athletes confront harsh repercussions for their actions and return as more dedicated, mature professionals. It also provides cautionary stories of bright futures interrupted by failure to amend negative conduct. In this pivotal time, Morant might benefit from reflecting on the divergent paths of figures such as Gilbert Arenas and Javers Cretenton. Arenas, despite not regaining his pre-incident prowess, managed to return to the NBA and has forged a successful career in media after retirement. Conversely, Cretenton faced a downward spiral culminating in severe violence tied to his gun troubles and is now serving a 23-year prison term. For the NBA, the situation with Morant exemplifies a challenging tightrope to navigate. The league has poured considerable effort into nurturing and showcasing emerging talents such as Morant, acknowledging that their exceptional skills and vibrant personas are vital for attracting younger fans. Concurrently, the NBA is tasked with maintaining a code of conduct that safeguards its image and the principles it embodies. This delicate balance was vividly articulated by Stephen A. Smith in his candid remarks to Morant. To clarify, Morant isn't a bad guy by any means. He's not just some guy itching for a fight, and neither is his father. Dad stands out at the games, sporting those distinctive shades. In reality, he's quite the jovial personality. No one's up there hoping you stumble and crash. Our aim is to witness the exceptional performance you've been displaying in recent matches. Smith also pointed out the larger business dynamics that require the NBA's firm stance. It operates as a business. The NBA's sometimes intrusive, exacting, and thorough measures are responses to the demands of the advertisers and sponsors whose financial support sustains the league. This is precisely why the NBA secured an 11-year, $76 billion agreement. They cater to and satisfy the needs of those sponsors and advertisers. Such matters adversely affect their profits. It's quite straightforward. As the debate around Ja Morant intensifies, experts are split on whether this new penalty will be effective where earlier measures fell short. Some believe that the harshness of the fine might serve as the needed impetus for him to change, leading to enduring improvements in his conduct and choices. Yet, some worry that this penalty might intensify his feelings of isolation, solidifying his role as the league's antagonist and hindering his ability to develop positively. The emotional weight of the scenario is amplified by Morant's extraordinary path to becoming an NBA starter. Originating from modest roots in South Carolina, where his father helped him hone his skills by using a tractor tire for vertical leap training, he was serendipitously found at a camp he hadn't intended to attend. Morant's ascent encapsulates one of basketball's most riveting tales of perseverance. I was concerned about his athletic capabilities, particularly since he wasn't showcasing any dunks. That's when I brought the massive tractor tire into the backyard. After each practice session, I had him leap onto it 25 times. Following that, things got intense. The same grit and dedication that took Morant from an unnoticed talent to a star in the NBA is now set to face a completely new challenge. The journey of personal development and mending his tarnished image awaits him. The Memphis Grizzlies face challenging choices regarding their future. After betting on Morant as the foundation of their franchise, they now need to assess whether to keep building around him despite his issues with availability and conduct or explore other options. For NBA enthusiasts, especially in Memphis who have rallied around Morant as the team's figurehead, this scenario stirs mixed feelings, a blend of disappointment over his missteps, frustration at the waste of such immense talent, and a glimmer of hope that he can still reach his vast potential as both an athlete and an individual. The upcoming months are crucial for Ja Morant. How he approaches this period, whether as one of genuine reflection and development or merely coasting until he reverts to past behaviors, could determine not only the next chapter of his career, but also its overall trajectory. The basketball community is keenly observing, wishing that this dynamic player can pull back from the brink and forge a comeback story worthy of his great promise. At this moment, however, the future remains unclear. Previously regarded as a likely candidate for NBA stardom, Morant finds himself at a pivotal junction. His reputation teeters precariously, with his next moves solely in his hands. We appreciate your viewership. If you like this video, tap on one of the icons appearing on your screen to explore more related content.